My fellow Americans.
Sell me this pen.
It's a amazing pen. For professionals.
Sell me this pen.
Well, it's a nice pen. You can use the pen to write down thoughts from your life so you can remember.
Sell me this pen.
Well,
I'm like the only person you know. I finish them. I don't lose them. I don't lose anything. And I will take this pen and that ink all the way down to the bottom, and then it runs out of ink. Can you imagine how satisfying that is to finish a big pen? I've done it thousands of times.
Death and taxes. Don't talk about politics or religion.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping, traveling with him. I guess we traveled 17,000 miles when I was vice president. I don't know that for a fact. And
I am the chosen one. Poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago.
Kowaleski suffers from a physical disability that limits the movements of his arms.
Across this country, all 50 states now have begun the difficult and careful task of reopening. But there's something else playing out tonight, right in the middle of all of this. Families already worried about coronavirus, thousands of them now forced to flee their homes. A state of emergency at this hour in Michigan, one of the hardest hit states from the virus, now facing this. Homes swept away by the flooding, the images coming in tonight. 2 dams failing, homes being lifted off their foundations. This image sadly playing out more than once as homes could be seen floating away. And it's impossible to imagine tonight what these families are going through, already trying to stay safe in this pandemic, now in shelters.
Several days later.
Just get up.
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my neck. I can't breathe.
Several long days later.
Earlier on Twitter, the president suggested the protesters were professionally managed and denied he was stoking more confrontation when he inquired, "Tonight, I understand, is MAGA night at the White House?"
6.5 hours later.
Behind me, that's Sanford Lake, or it was. Now it's just a river. 2 dams burst upstream. Guy didn't want to do maintenance for 10 years. Destroyed all these people's lives. Houses floated on the way. Everyone lost their boats. Parents lost their dock. They got lucky. Not a lot of people did. I watched this water flow into Midland and flood the hospital I was born in. This happened because a man didn't want to do maintenance for 10 years. He wears a Make America Great Again hat. So, I'm here to talk about these 2 books today. This is A People's History of the United States of America by Howard Zinn. There's a lot of great presidencies in this book, and I have respected them a lifetime, all aisles. From the Federalists, to the Republicans, to the Democrats, to what needs to come now, the centrist party. This is the Holy Bible.
3 hours later.
Mr. President, your thoughts right now?
Hey, Bob.
What are your thoughts right now?
White House.
A fire damaged part of it the night before, a useful backdrop.
Why President Trump pulled this stunt?
Yeah, we're learning more about what was behind this last-minute photo op. So last minute, we should note that Secret Service rushed up here on this balcony where I'm standing right now, where CNN has been broadcasting for weeks now without any heads up that they were coming up here.
There was the mayhem for that photo op across the street from the White House. Indeed, it was just days later when Bob Woodward asked then President Trump this.
Did somebody help you?
Yeah, I get people that come up with ideas, but the ideas are mine, Bob. Mine.
And
Want to
then
know something? Everything's mine.
The guy's a fake, man. He's taking credit for our moves.
I am the chosen one.
Unbelievable. Per Revelation 13:5, the man of sin has 42 months to speak his blasphemies and divide us. And he has done that very effectually, divide and conquer. Per his ex-wife's deposition at his divorce, Ivana said he read Hitler's speeches bedside every night for 10 years. He seems to channel those well in his rallies. 2 Thessalonians 2 talks about the man of sin pulls the wool over their eyes, divides us. He's not the real one, he's the false one.
So I'm packing up the tent. There were lions here flanking me on all sides last night, just slapping their tails. Take a look at this. Yeah. That's where one slept. And that's where another one slept.
Stunned reaction today to the president's jaw-dropping suggestions on how to combat COVID-19.
I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside?
Lysol quickly issuing a statement. We must be clear that under no circumstance should our disinfectant products be administered into the human body through injection, ingestion, or any other route.
These are dangerous chemicals to inject intravenously.
And I honest to God believe it's your patriotic duty.
Does RFK Jr. have a worm in his brain? Sure. Trump's brain is just 2 possums and a squirrel. Biden's cerebrum is riddled with slugs, you know? Would it be nice to have a candidate whose head is full of all brain? Sure. And I'd love a puppy too, but Kristi Noem shot it. Grow up.
What is it?
Come on. Do you remember the 90s?
Yeah?
You know, people were talking about getting piercings and getting tribal tattoos.
Yeah?
And people were singing about saving the planet and forming bands.
Yeah?
There's a place where that idea still exists as a reality, and I've been there.
All over America, a quiet revolution has been taking place. More and more, both parents are working and raising families. Life seems to be moving faster than ever, and Americans have rediscovered, are redefining what's really important in their lives. They want quality in their personal life, in their business life, in the goods they purchase, and in the food they eat. They want good, basic home cooking, quality food, and they want choices, variety, all at a reasonable price. Americans want value.
Sizzler brings the choices that you've been looking for. In giving you the right to choose, we're offering much more. By holding to traditions, yet changing with the times. Choices and selections, choices of directions, choices that can add a little freedom in your life. Sizzler is the choice of America. Sizzler gives you choices every day. That's the Sizzler way. Get a little freedom.
awesome American cooking.
What we need to do is flatten that down. That would
Sizzler filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy Monday. The Orange County-based restaurant chain blamed COVID-19 pandemic for spiraling sales at its 107 locations.
Why? Why would you do that?
We weren't bothering anyone, just having some fun.
This field's mine. That fence, mine. You damaged both, then you came back to damage them more. This is my home.
It resonates with men and women that he was at least true to his character. There's a romance in that. We don't have to win in order to be respected. We have to stay true to ourselves. We have to find the relevance in who we are and not strive to become what's popular. I mean, everybody wants to be popular, myself included, but I don't need to lose myself in order to do that.
Love coming here. This is the spot I want you to come to, by the way. There were just F-35 circling above. All right. February 24th, 2024, 12:33 a.m. Pacific. I tweeted to Netanyahu, ceasefire, bring water. In the name of the red heifer, do it now. Postscript, just is as just does. There's a typo here. I was drinking that night. A little drunken diplomacy, I should be more careful with that. Sometimes it's effective. Sometimes you make a typo, but I guess we can all make typos anyway. Unjust is as unjust does. To Antonio Guterres, he's the head of the UN. Ceasefire, deliver all required supplies. Civilians without water supersedes war. It's not allowed. I'm deeply upset about it, but never about your losses. Ceasefire, food, water, supplies. You've crumbled enough before me. You may stop. If King Messiah requires go, he shall let you know. Dagger 1, ceasefire. I was still suffering beyond all. I was late. Sometimes that's life. Ceasefire, Dagger 1 and all, abort. And I attached Elon Musk and then the Dagger 1 launch sequence from the new Top Gun movie. So this is very Air Force themed. I do appreciate the lookout, guys. All right, take two.
There is late word tonight. President Biden saying late today that there is now hope for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas within days, by next Monday. It comes amid a horrific scene outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., a U.S. airman setting himself on fire. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, in a rare and horrifying act of protest, reminiscent of the days of the Vietnam War, an active duty U.S. airman setting himself on fire over the growing death toll in Gaza.
This call, we just got a man on fire.
That man, identified as 25-year-old Aaron Bushnell from San Antonio, live streaming himself Sunday outside of the gates of the Israeli embassy in Washington. Because of its explicit nature, ABC News is not showing the actual video. In it, Bushnell says, quote, "I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest." Moments later, Bushnell puts his phone down, pours a liquid over his head, and lights himself afire. Screaming, "Free Palestine!" he falls to the ground engulfed in flames. First responders using fire extinguishers to douse the flames, but it was too late. Bushnell later died. The stunning scene in Washington coming amid chaotic scenes in Gaza. A massive crowd swarming this beach, desperate for food and supplies.
I don't want people to pour fire on themselves or each other. Benjamin and Mahmoud. Mahmoud? Come, make peace.
The U.S. will begin airdropping humanitarian aid into Gaza as early as this weekend. The Biden administration's decision comes as the situation there is deteriorating. Launch decision.
Simple.
And trying to get a hostage deal done with Hamas. But the president was caught on a hot mic at the State of the Union. I'm sure you've heard about this and seen this, where he's caught saying that he wants to have a come to Jesus meeting with the prime minister. And I think we have the sound here. Let's play it.
Don't worry, Mr.
This is one of the big
Great speech. Really great speech. I was telling your secretary, I was in Jordan and Israel this weekend. And just, you got to keep pushing what you're doing on the humanitarian stuff and all this shit. So,
I told him, baby, so many people. I said, baby, you know, to come to Jesus. Sir, just. That might go good. That was good.
Come, make peace.
Breaking news in the Middle East. Hamas has announced it has agreed to a ceasefire agreement proposed by Egypt and Qatar. We're waiting to see if Israel will accept the deal as well.
If you're Jewish and you vote for him, I say shame on you.
So to be clear, are you okay with Israel then if they invade Rafah?
They have to get the job done.
Overnight, fire and horror in Rafah. An Israeli airstrike at a camp for displaced civilians, setting tents and cars aflame. Fire crews in Hamas-run Gaza say at least 40 people were killed, many of them women and children. One of the deadliest bombings in Rafah of the entire war. The Red Crescent says it happened in a designated safe zone.
I am the chosen one. This guy, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
There are leaders sometimes who will define history for better or worse. Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin. Platon has photographed all three. In fact, he's photographed more than 40 world leaders, including 3 US presidents. But it was Trump who surprised him the most. This is a man who's been president, who wants to be president again, Donald Trump, who's under criminal trial as we speak. What was that setup? What were you saying? I mean, he's way at the back of the frame.
This is, I've been told, one of his favourite rooms. It's the boardroom in Trump Tower.
where everyone would get fired in his TV show. This is where he exercised power as a rehearsal, I think, for the presidency. I remember saying to him, Donald, let's just be human.
When was this?
This is before he was president, before even the election campaign started properly. Yeah. And I said, let's be human together. I said, we've all followed your career. No one can doubt it's an extraordinary career path you've had, but there's always something about you. There's always an air of tension and controversy about things you say and do in public. And I'm sure it's intentional on your part, but it feels to me as if you're in the middle of an emotional storm. And I said, I can't live with that anxiety all the time. As a fellow human being, I'd like to know how you weather the storm. He calmly looked at me and he said, I am the storm.
Even then?
I had those words ringing out in my brain through the election campaign, through his presidency, through his post-presidency, and now we're in another cycle again. And I keep thinking to myself, there's only one person who can navigate perfectly through the storm, and that's the creator of the storm. So,
Come, make peace. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, 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 other than day one. Doesn't matter. Everything's mine.
Overnight, fire and horror in Rafah.
Everything's mine. I said, how do you do that? Essentially, he said, the death penalty. We catch, they call it quick trial. They have a trial, and it's quick. And by the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. I didn't say lock up.
Both sides said they would meet in Paris for ceasefire talks. And then Aaron Bushnell did what he did. I will never know if it was to drive home this point, or he had been planning this for a while, or if it was just different elements swirling around. But regardless of all of those possibilities, he's always my first soldier lost. And I was deeply hurt by his loss. And I came up to these mountains and I filmed myself say, I don't like people pouring fire on each other. And then I asked them to make peace before me. And I poured 3 buckets of water over my head. And that location is several miles that way. But this is the spot. I call that the fountain of youth. This is where peace can be made. This water. By the way, Robert, what did they do to the food that my hand is all red? I keep eating something. See, I want you to focus. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the big picture, making sure this place survives forever. And if one of my lions were to pop out of the trees, would you be able to roar to tell it to stand down? I really love it here. But I tell you, this water is perfectly cold. It's not too... It's not so cold that it's jarring, that you're in shock from it. It's not really so warm and it's truly relaxing. It's kind of right in between. And the tension in your muscles kind of just erases. It's really, really something. I've never been anywhere like it. I've been in many lakes and rivers and oceans. But this spot is special to tread water right here. I swear, I don't know why can't just sit here with Putin and Zelensky and they just shake hands and make friends again. Or Z and I'm slipping the new. There's a new prime minister now of Taiwan. Oh no. I'm up here in the mountains, there's no internet. I can't cheat. Do a retake, I'm embarrassed. That happens. What about Trump and Biden? Get them down here to make peace? That's not so simple. See, the Donald's not really welcome here. He's done so many things that are just immoral. But my God, to call your fellow Americans the enemy within. I guess Ivana's transcript was right. At your divorce proceedings, she testified that you read Hitler's speeches every single night for 10 fucking years. It was your bedside reading material, you piece of shit. Tired of you. You hear this river? This is the sound of a true leader. You hear that silence? It's the silence where you can concentrate to run a business. And since he won't let me do that 6 months from now, he's gonna stand out of my way.
Why do people talk about dreams so much in sports? Dream seasons, dream matchups, dream opportunities. They do it because so much of sports is about imagining what you want things to be like. If only the setting were just right.
It was one of those times none of us will ever forget.
The characters just right.
I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble.
The timing just right.
11 Hall of Famers. I don't think you can ever do that again, at no point in time.
If only it could all be the way you might have dreamed it up yourself.
Are you filming?
Yep. That was the most exhilarating 15 seconds of my life.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
Please, Michael Jordan!
No Isaiah Thomas stuff.
No Isaiah Thomas question.
Cool.
We became a team, and that team just stomped on everybody.
This never happened in sports, nowhere.
Well, I figured eventually there'd be a movie made about the Dream Team.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sport.
In a wild Super Bowl, Montana tied the game at 13 early in the fourth quarter.
And right at the touchdown, 49ers. That's another great throw by Montana.
3:38 is the time remaining, so it'll be about a 40-yard attempt.
The Bengals regained the lead on a Jim Breach field goal.
Long enough, and it is good! And with 3:20 left to go, the Bengals take a 16-13 lead.
Walsh would have to go the distance for the win. The 49ers' last drive started on their own 8-yard line.
We go run out on the field, and sure enough, they call a television timeout. And so we're all standing out in the huddle, and I was always an intense guy. I'm like, man, we have fought through it. We were 6-5. Man, we should be beating this team. We're behind by 3. We need to score a touchdown. This is crap. What are we doing? It was the tensest time that you could ever have as a football player. You know, this is a Super Bowl, and you're down. And Joe looks at me, and he goes, hey, H. And I go, what? And he goes, hey, check it out. And I go, what? And he goes, look down there in the other end zone. And I go, okay. He goes, you see him? I go, no. He goes, there's John Candy down there in the end zone. And sure enough, the whole huddle turns around and looks down there, and there's John Candy eating popcorn at the other end of the stadium. And we're like, yeah, that is John Candy. Look at that. And then the official blows a whistle, and the play starts.
The 49ers have a long way to go. Montana back to throw on first down. Throws over the middle. Completes it to Craig. Craig is to the 16.
That was Joe Montana at his best.
Montana again is back to throw. A little dunk over the middle. Caught by John Frank, and that'll be a first down.
Montana with a first down. 2 receivers near side. Joe back to throw. Steps up. Throws. Out here for Rice. He has it. Midfield goes out of bounds. 2 wide receivers near side. Montana to throw. Completes it up the middle to Craig.
At one point, Joe looked at me and gave me a timeout signal, and I waved him off. I didn't want to take a timeout there. And he did it again. I waved him off. I had no idea he was hyperventilating.
Montana trying to drive him the length of the field here with the game in the balance. 16-13, the Bengals lead. Montana back to throw. Throws over the middle. A fight gets for right into the 20. He's down to the 19 for a first down.
We were all extensions of each other.
Everyone had different roles they had to play.
52 seconds remaining.
And that whole drive, we were just an extension to each other.
He completes it to Craig. He's down to the 10. 49ers will have to take a timeout.
With 39 seconds remaining, Walsh called 20 halfback curl X up. It was the last play he would call as coach of the 49ers.
At the 10-yard line, 39 seconds remaining. Back to throw Montana. Steps up, throws.
At the time the touchdown was scored, in the midst of all that, I knew that would have been my last game. It was very emotional, and it was the wear and tear began to show.
Sam Weich comes across the field to look for Bill Walsh.
Also, I had a great affection for Sam Weich, because he and I had been like brothers.
I love you. I love you. Congratulations. I am happy for you like I've never been. Believe me. Congratulations. This is yours. You deserve it.
I trusted him and had my arm around him, and he, in a sense, protected me, because I was starting to wind down from that point on, and he helped me off the field, really.
It really took a long time for this to be made, but it's great. Construction getting underway today on the new wildlife crossing over the 101 freeway.
It's being built as the world's largest wildlife crossing for mountain lions and other animals caught in Southern California's urban sprawl.
One of the things that makes Southern California such an amazing place to live is all the wildlife that lives here, too. And now the fight to save that wildlife is taking a big step forward tonight. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter.
Caltrans crews prepare for closures for cougars along the 101 as construction of the nation's largest wildlife crossing moves to new heights.
The closure tonight is the first step, and the process involves building a huge crane that's going to be lifting these girders.
These new images show what the massive bridge will look like once completed. It's designed to save mountain lions from tragedies we've seen when the majestic creatures try to cross area freeways. It's also meant to provide a safe connection between the small population of cougars in the Santa Monica Mountains and the larger, more genetically diverse population to the north. Once the southbound side is completed, they'll be moving on to the northbound lanes. And while it will mean a major detour for drivers, wildlife advocates say it will save the local population of mountain lions from extinction.
It is really reconnecting the Santa Monica Mountains to the rest of the world for all wildlife. So it's a really hopeful project that we can do this over one of the world's busiest freeways. And we know from the National Park Service research that the animals are already trying to cross there.
That's the reality of the world we live in, folks. And if you're clinging on to this left versus right, these culture war arguments, you are getting caught up in their bullshit game. Most people want the same thing. They want to be healthy. They want their family to be healthy and happy. They want to have a pursuit that they enjoy. They want to enjoy their community, enjoy their loved ones. That's what most people want. Most people want the same thing. Most of this shit that you're seeing has all been stirred up by foreign governments and special interest groups and a bunch of shit. And if you're online, they're spoon feeding it to you. If you're online and you're engaging on social media, they're shoving that down your throat
every day.
Gaslighting you every day. And it's more and more obvious now than it's ever been before because people at least are aware of it. They know what's going on, but it's shocking how much of it's going on. And it's allowing us to fight with each other while all this shit is going on behind the scenes. And
in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible.
For only $39, $9.99, $95. Come on down and see me, Goldie Wilson III, at any one of our 29 convenient locations. Remember, keep them flying.
And I have many. It's my favorite book.
The guy is a goddamn used car salesman. I mean, this keeps getting better and better. I'm sorry, Harry. I know this got to be painful. But you got to admit, it's pretty damn funny. I mean, if it was just some idiot, not you, you'd be laughing your ass off. I mean, this is...
I almost forgot. I'd hate to deprive you of this. Salvation lies within.
Yes, sir.
Here's the problem. Here's the real problem. Republicans won't be the solution either, kids. The problem is people in a position of power. The Republicans seem like they are your solution, but it's just because the people in power right now are the Democrats. Whenever the Democrats are out and the Republicans are in, everybody is dying for a Democrat. I remember when Bush was president, after the second term, everybody was like, good Lord, can we get a fucking reasonable Democrat in here before this country goes Christian nationalist and goes crazy and starts every war?
Yeah.
And then Obama comes in like, oh, things going to be great. But it kind of seems like kind of the same, you know, and the whistleblower protection that he promised, actually probably like one of the worst on whistleblowers ever. Drone strikes, kind of a shitload of drone strikes.
Yeah.
The whole thing was bonkers. It's just the same structure with a different face.
Two sides of the same coin. Two management teams bidding for control, the CEO job of Slavery Incorporated. Everything's mine. I don't know.
My fellow Americans, we are living in a time of great division, where the pendulum swings from back and forth, from left to right, and right to left. This division must end. One of us must grab this pendulum swinging right in the center and stop the swinging. Unite the nation. Am I up to be this man? I'm going to try.
Across America, the song of freedom rings, the song that's growing stronger every day. It tells us when we listen to the message that it sings. Everything's mine. Let us lift our voices. We can make the choices. We will make the most of all the best that freedom brings. Sizzler is the one who brings us choices, reaching out across the USA. Each and every day, get a little freedom in your life.
I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen.
the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.
Guy, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
He made fun of a cripple! He divides the nation! It's un-American. Let me say it again. He made fun of a cripple. That is not Christian. It's not Jewish. It's not Buddhist. It's not Muslim. It's Satanist. Because Trump is the Antichrist. He is man of sin. He makes fun of cripples. He divides us. He's not good enough for us. And he says he's going to come back in 2024. Well, he has to go through me. Me. Messiah. Thank you for listening.
So what do I do?
Parting your soup is not a miracle, Bruce. It's a magic trick. A single mom who's working 2 jobs and still finds time to take her kid to soccer practice, that's a miracle. A teenager who says no to drugs and yes to an education, that's a miracle. People want me to do everything for them, when what they don't realize is they have the power. You want to see a miracle, son? Be the miracle.
Scotland. I am William Wallace.
William Wallace is 7 feet tall.
Yes, I've heard. He kills men by the hundred. And if he were here, he'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes and bolts of lightning from his arse. I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do with that freedom? Will you fight? Fight against that? No! We will run! And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
So why do you think I should work for the National Security Agency?
Well, you'd be working on the cutting edge. You'd be exposed to the kind of technology that you wouldn't see anywhere else because we've classified it. Superstring theory, chaos math, advanced algorithms.
Code breaking.
Well, that's one aspect of what we do.
Oh, come on. I mean, that is what you do. You guys handle 80% of the intelligence workload. You're 7 times the size of the CIA.
We don't like to brag about that, Will. But you're exactly right. So the way I see it, the question isn't, why should you work for the NSA? The question is, why shouldn't you?
Why shouldn't I work for the NSA? It's a tough one. But I'll take a shot. Say I'm working at the NSA and somebody puts a code on my desk, something no one else can break. Maybe I take a shot at it, maybe I break it. And I'm real happy with myself because I did my job well. But maybe that code was the location of some rebel army in North Africa or the Middle East, and once they have that location, they bomb the village where the rebels are hiding. 1,500 people that I never met, never had no problem with, get killed. Now the politicians are saying, oh, send in the Marines to secure the area because they don't give a shit. It won't be their kid over there getting shot, just like it wasn't them when their number got called because they were all pulling a tour in the National Guard. It'll be some kid from Southie over there taking shrapnel in the ass. He comes back to find that the plant he used to work at got exported to the country he just got back from, and the guy who put the shrapnel in his ass got his old job because he'll work for 15 cents a day and no bathroom breaks. Meanwhile, he realizes the only reason he was over there in the first place was so that we could install a government that would sell us oil at a good price. And of course, the oil companies use a little skirmish over there to scare up domestic oil prices. A cute little ancillary benefit for them, but it ain't helping my buddy at $2.50 a gallon. They're taking their sweet time bringing the oil back, of course. Maybe they even took the liberty of hiring an alcoholic skipper who likes to drink martinis and fucking play slalom with the icebergs. It ain't too long till he hits one, spills the oil, and kills all the sea life in the North Atlantic. So now my buddy's out of work, he can't afford to drive, so he's walking to the fucking job interviews, which sucks because the shrapnel in his ass is giving him chronic hemorrhoids, and meanwhile he's starving because every time he tries to get a bite to eat, the only blue plate special they're serving is North Atlantic scrod with Quaker steak. So what did I think? I'm holding out for something better. I figure, fuck it, while I'm at it, why not just shoot my buddy? Take his job, give it to his sworn enemy, hike up gas prices, bomb a village, club a baby seal, hit the hash pipe, and join the National Guard. I could be elected president.
I know the day the music died. It was the day of the escalator. It was the last day my hometown was won.
Long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance. Maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride, but something touched me deep inside the day the music died. So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above? If the Bible tells you so, now do you believe in rock and roll? Can music save your mortal soul? And can you teach me how to dance real slow? Well, I know that you're in love with him, 'cause I saw you dancing in the gym. You both kicked off your shoes. Man, I dig those rhythm and blues. I was a lonely teenage bronc and buck with a pink carnation and a pickup truck. Oh, but I knew I was out of luck the day the music died. I started singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Then good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, saying, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Now for 10 years we've been on our own, and moss grows fat on a rolling stone. That's not how it used to be. Why, when the jester sang for the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean, and a voice that came from you and me. Oh, and while the king was looking down, the jester stole his thorny crown. The courtroom was adjourned. No verdict was returned. Yet while Lennon read a book on Marx, a quartet practiced in the park, and we sang dirges in the dark the day the music died. We were singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Helter skelter in the summer swelter, the birds flew off with a fallout shelter. 8 miles high and falling fast. It landed foul on the grass. The players tried for a forward pass, with the jester on the sidelines in a cast. Now the halftime air was sweet perfume, while the sergeants played a marching tune. We all got up to dance, oh, but we never got the chance. As the players tried to take the field, the marching band refused to yield. Do you recall what was revealed the day the music died? We started singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Oh, and there we were all in one place, a generation lost in space, with no time left to start again. So come on, Jack, be nimble, Jack, be quick. Jack Flash sat on a candlestick, 'cause fire is the devil's only friend. Oh, and as I watched him on the stage, my hands were clenched in fists of rage. No angel born in hell could break that Satan spell. And as the flames climbed high into the night to light the sacrificial rite. I saw Satan laughing with delight the day the music died. He was singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Oh, my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. I met a girl who sang the blues, and I asked her for some happy news. She just smiled and turned away. And I went down to the sacred store where I'd heard the music years before, but the man there said the music wouldn't play. And in the streets the children screamed, the lovers cried and the poets dreamed. Not a word was spoken, the church bells all were broken. And the three men I admire most, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, why, they caught the last bus for the coast the day the music died. And they were singing, bye, Miss American Pie. Rode my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, saying this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. They were singing what? Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Oh, the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I
Be shot. He's under protection of the law. You got